how is your digital asset strategy going? And if you want to maybe just tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing and how it's faring right now.
First of all, Palau is a very small country. We only have 20,000 people. And one of the things that we quickly realized with COVID and the challenges that we've had to our economy is that we need to diversify our economy. We need to look at ways that we can be more innovative and take advantage of new technologies. So we believe that what we've launched is going very well. This past year, Palau passed the Digital Residency Act. And this really allows, makes it the availability for a person to get his digital identity from Palau and available to the global community. Since the time that we launched it, it's been gaining excitement, but we know that there's still, we need to expand the offerings that we have. So we need to continue to provide, well, if you get this digital residency, what does it allow you to do? And we're working through that and trying to, add to our regulations and make things more beneficial to our digital residents. But one of the things that we wanted to make sure of right off at the beginning is that we wanted to do it correctly, we wanted to do it safely, and we also wanted to look at Palau's market size and what would be able to handle. So one of the important parts of this digital residency program is that to become a digital resident, we run you through a rigorous know your client process, a KYC process that every participant in Palau's economy needs to go through entirely virtually. And so we do a background check. We want to make sure that you don't have any criminal records and also are not on any worldwide sanction list. We're also looking and exploring other features that we could offer, like registration of e-corporations, so that digital residents can conduct business globally through Palau's convenient RNS portal. We're hoping that they will be able to manage their identity, contacts, and e-corporations on this portal. Palau is also taking a step and collaborating with Ripple to explore the creation of a national stablecoin, which we hope to launch soon, and which will help make payments easy and secure. Palau has also been very fortunate to gain recognition from leaders in the blockchain industry, like Changpeng Zhao from Binance, who was able to visit us a few months ago, and we talked about how we can collaborate on the digital residency program, as well as making use of Binance Pay to make digital payments for digital residents, but also even participate in the local commerce. A couple of weeks ago, I also had the opportunity to meet virtually with Vitalik Buterin from Ethereum, and to open up and to look at opening up the RNS ID ecosystem to the developer community, and to see how Palau's digital residency can engage with the concept of soul-bound ID systems. This is a new world for Palau, but we are excited to be part of it. One of the advantages that we have is we're small, and hopefully we can mobilize our government and be more adaptive to the changes that need to be made in this fast-changing environment. At the core of our strategy, a digital asset strategy, Palau is essentially a combination of initiatives, really to grow the size of our digital participants, to diversify our economy into fintech, and to attract talents from around the world, to form partnerships and to open our ecosystem to builders and entrepreneurs. So we just hope to provide that platform where entrepreneurs can grow. And I think that's our ultimate goal.
Okay, thank you for that. So do you think that central bank digital currencies and government efforts in digital assets generally will kind of be symbiotic with the sort of private or decentralized crypto ecosystem, or will they compete with those efforts?
Well, I think we think that they're symbiotic and they can complement each other. In fact, central bank digital currencies is an idea that really has come out of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. Palau itself, we don't have a central bank that's established. We use US dollars as the official currency. In developing our collaboration with Ripple, our goal is to have a USD backed stablecoin, which is really a step toward our own central bank current digital currency, you could say. And we feel that this is important and it will help make fiat on-ramping easier. And our digital residents will also have banking access and through Binance Pay options will make off-ramping easier too. So we really believe that they don't compete, but they actually are symbiotic and they can help each other and strengthen the crypto ecosystem. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I know you have to head off, but really appreciate you being here and for this audience. So,
well, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so now let's go to a poll, actually. Do we have that coming up? If you can get out your phones. Decentralized finance projects pack complex transactions, deals, and trades into single applications. How should DeFi be regulated? Should you expand on existing regulatory frameworks, create DeFi licenses, or let DeFi self-regulate? We've got kind of an even split on the existing and the DeFi licenses, and then less for self-regulation. Okay. Very interesting. Kai and Nischint, on to you. And Kai, I love the batik, just have to say, representing here. So what do you see in the crypto landscape right now? Where are we in the cycle? You know, summer, winter, is kind of all the fallout done? Where are we going?
So based on our observation, at least what we're looking, not only in Indonesia, but globally, on previous trend, there's always been cycles that trends, 4-year cycles that trends across the cryptocurrency or crypto asset markets. You know, there's the accumulation phase, there's a markup phase where demand exceeds supply, and then usually there's the distribution phase where, you know, typical buyers start converting into sellers, where they start realizing their gains, and then you have the markdown phase where supplies exceed demand. So based on the past few months that we have been observing, I was also sharing at the backstage right now is that it shows signs of us experiencing a crypto winter, and I think that is also elevated based on the current global, you know, market conditions that's happening across the world. However, my take on this, or at least from the exchange perspective, is that ultimately this winter will essentially allow us to, because after winter, usually in Chinese terms, you say it's spring cleaning, right? There have been a lot of companies that have, you know, overextended their risk portfolio and caused great issues to the industry in general. So to sum it up, I think yes, the market is showing signs of a crypto winter based on, you know, observations, based on people we've spoken to, based on what we see and observe in markets. But yeah, we're still looking forward to what's going to happen, and definitely everything happens in a cycle. So, you know, it's gonna pass, and looking forward to what's gonna come next. Okay, and Nischint, what do you think?
I guess we're in the business of predicting cycles and seasons, but I think apart from that, I think the fact of what Kai said in terms of cycles, it's true. Like we've seen multiple cycles like that in the crypto market. Most of us have been through most of them. But what we've seen in the cycles is like when there is an up cycle, we see a lot of people come in the market, and that includes speculators, that includes developers, that includes entrepreneurs. As these cycles peak up and start falling down, we see a lot of these speculators come out of it. But most of the time, the developers and the entrepreneurs stay. So our goal is to follow the developers and where they are going and see what kind of exciting applications and protocols and stuff that they're building, and how we can help them at the early stage of their businesses. So that's the way Visa also thinks about this, and follow the developers wherever they're going. We've actually seen, like, in spite of calling this a bit of winter or bear market, we've seen that the number of developers who are active right now is probably at the highest, and there have been reports which show that these developers are staying in spite of the prices. So I think it's a good sign that this is happening in the market, and we can probably see the best products are still yet to come.
Okay, and so Nischint, what do you see as the most important developments coming for consumers? In crypto, Web3, metaverse. What do we need? And EM, for instance, is often considered one of the big use cases and bringing people up. So what are you looking at in the next year, 2 years, as the really important things for a consumer?
I mean, there are a lot of things happening at this time, right? If you see, we've seen augmented reality and embedded finance go up in a lot of ways, and that is actually contributing to the growth of metaverse. Now, again, metaverse is going to be a place where we see users interacting with a lot of content and with each other as well. And we are here to support that kind of payment mechanism. Again, whether it uses traditional payment mechanisms or the new forms of money, whether it's stablecoin, CBDC, it's still to be seen. But that is one area that we are definitely looking at. Another one is DeFi. Now, within DeFi, we did a recent survey, and we've seen that 21% of people in Asia Pacific have said that they are currently using DeFi. And the number which said that they're interested is probably double of that, which means that there's a huge consumer appetite for DeFi. Obviously, now for DeFi to come into mainstream, there are multiple factors that will come into play. But over time, we see this merger between the traditional finance world and the DeFi world coming together in some way. So I think those are things that we do see coming up in the future. Okay,
great. And Kai, what are you seeing?
I think one of the most important is the possible collaboration between Visa and Tokocrypto, I don't know, in Indonesia or something over the next near course of the future. But something that I want to point out, and something that we have been observing in Indonesia, is the sheer interest that the governments and regulators, just like how His Excellency of Palau has also indicated. Definitely within Indonesia, there has been a lot of interest. Pretty sure you guys have heard that President Jokowi has mentioned of moving the new capital over to Kalimantan. They have spoke about wanting to creating it on the metaverse. How can they look at putting blocks of land in the new capital on the metaverse? There has been metaverse that was announced with some of the listed companies in Indonesia. There's been metaverse that's been announced with some of the big telco companies in Indonesia. So Web3, metaverse, and GameFi, these are the three most talked about keywords within the VC space, within regulators in Indonesia. To see these things come into fruition, of course, whether is it just on the surface, because in the metaverse you have the front end and you have the back end, right? The front end is everything that you see in virtual, but in order for it to get it implemented, I think some of the speakers before was also saying that there have been a lot of plans, but what we need is implementation. So I think those are the things that we're looking forward to see implemented, especially G20 is coming up in Indonesia, and a lot of these plans, a lot of these projects have been were being built, secretly, not secretly, but they are being built, and they will be announced during G20. And I think that's something that Indonesia is very proud to be able to showcase, and also for something that we can expect to see what exactly has been built. There's a lot of promises on crypto, but now it's time to see what are the real products that can actually be brought in. I think there was also mention about commodities in Indonesia that's coming up. right? Indonesia is a country that is not very well known for its strict processes, its supply chains. So having blockchain come in to see how it could make things a bit more efficient in this space is also some of the things that I think is very key and crucial in terms of the, that people are expecting.
Okay, so Kai, what do you think will spur more adoption in digital assets, both on the retail and the institutional side?
A couple of things. Number one, partnerships. We need Web 2 companies, we need traditional companies, finance companies to take that step, which just having this session itself is very promising. It gives a very positive outlook in the space, because everyone here is a seasoned, experienced person that has been working with many years of experience in the traditional finances. And to have that interest, I think that's the key thing. The next thing would be to see how we can partner up to deliver and offer some of the things that I mentioned earlier, and how do we offer them to the people to actually be implemented. And the third thing would be regulations. That is very key and crucial. At least from what we are observing in Indonesia, that has been very sound policies that were put in place. Crypto is being taxed. Crypto transactions are taxed in Indonesia. There's a regulatory body that is governing the industry. There's reported of 15 million retail customers in Indonesia. How do we take the next step? I think to expand more on these things that I mentioned. That's my thought.
Okay, and Nischint, what do you think?
So I think two things are really key for the next, mainstream adoption. First of all, there's user experience. We've always seen in the crypto industry, like probably 10 years back also, it was a very, very complex mechanism of doing anything in the crypto side. Over time, we've seen those user experiences become much better and it's more seamless. But I think for the next generation of people to come in, it has to be as seamless as with the knowing that there's probably nothing in crypto right now. It could be something like crypto in the back, which is powering, which could be blockchain, but it doesn't have to be something which is full of jargons, something which is full of multiple hoops to jump. So I think that user experience becomes a critical aspect of it. The second part is security. I mean, we've all seen in crypto, security has been one of the biggest concerns, whether it's on smart contract hacks, exchange hacks, a lot of other phishing attempts and all of the things which are happening right now. Now, for that, the industry will really need to mature and come up with newer security measures, especially in things like DeFi. That's where I think a lot of the traditional institutions and financial institutions which have been doing this, being certified for years, can come and give the expertise to the traditional the crypto players and the crypto native players. So I think that, again, talking again of that whole merger between the traditional financial institutions and the crypto world becomes even more important at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And so I guess quick answers on the last two if you can, but what do you see as particularly promising or challenging in ASEAN, since we're at an ASEAN conference? Nischint.
I think in terms of ASEAN particularly, again, because there's a different, multiple of geographies, right? It's very hard to give a particular answer specific only to ASEAN, but I think we've seen this growth of CBDCs and stablecoin regulation coming in, and I think that can become a very critical factor of how this market grows. So we have to see how each of different regulators look at this and look at stablecoins in general.
Okay, and Kai?
I think some of the challenges that we see and face right now is, I think everyone thinks everything needs to be tokenized, or you need to create a crypto token out of it all. But I think fundamentally we need to go back to what processes can fundamentally be not tokenized, but looking at adopting blockchain technology into those processes. So I think in general is to make people understand that blockchain technology is not all about cryptocurrency and going to the moon, but fundamentally, like what Nischint mentioned, it's also about how the technology can fundamentally power services that we are so used to and aware to, but not actually knowing that what we are using is actually powered by this technology. So.
Okay, and so last question, 2 minutes each. What does the future of money look like? Is it central bank digital currencies? Is it crypto? What's going to survive out of all the stuff that's happening right now, Kai?
Definitely, I think CBDC is something that would come up and start to show itself more as in the next couple of years with the growing interest, definitely from, I think the last was Governor of Bank Indonesia actually stepped up and was talking about CBDCs in Indonesia, and with G20 coming up, I think that some shape and form of it will be starting to come up, and something that we can start seeing what exactly have they been planned. We've been involved in a lot of focus group discussions with BEI as well. OJK has also come up and mentioned, the new chairman of OJK also came out to mention about crypto. So yeah, my perspective is that CBDC will definitely lead the charge in the next, wave of cryptos.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And Nischint, what do you think?
I think the future of payments is definitely digital. We've seen massive adoption through the pandemic. I think in terms of stablecoin and CBDC, I would definitely see regulated governed stablecoins. Those can almost become like an alternate payment rail to what other systems are today, whether it's an RTP system, whether it's a card system, there will definitely be an alternate rail. CBDCs also will probably take a little bit more time to mature, but that will also come eventually to serve all the Web3 ecosystem. So I think both of those are pretty likely to succeed.
Thanks to these guys for their thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna.